Can an avoidant truly change? Or are you stuck loving someone who will always keep one foot out the door? This is one of the most painful questions people ask when they find themselves emotionally attached to someone who pulls away. Because an avoidant partner can feel deeply loving one moment and completely distant the next. And that emotional inconsistency creates confusion that keeps you hooked longer than you should be. The honest truth is that avoidance can change, but not in the way most people hope or expect. They don't change because you love them harder, stay longer, or prove your worth again and again. In fact, the more you chase, the more their nervous system feels overwhelmed and pressured. Avoidant attachment is not about a lack of feelings. It is about a fear of losing control and independence. So when intimacy deepens, their instinct is not to lean in, but to create distance to feel safe again. This is why you can have amazing moments together, only to be followed by sudden emotional withdrawal. And if you take that personally, you end up blaming yourself for something you never caused. Real change for an avoidant begins with self-awareness, not with your effort or sacrifice. They have to recognize their patterns, their triggers, and the way they push people away when things get real. Without that awareness, every relationship becomes a repeating cycle of closeness and distance. And no matter how patient or understanding you are, the outcome stays the same. True transformation requires them to feel the cost of their behavior, not just the comfort of your presence. Because as long as you remain available, no matter how they treat you, there is no real reason for them to grow. Change often begins when they lose something meaningful and are forced to reflect on their patterns. But even then, not every avoidant chooses growth over familiarity and emotional safety. Some will acknowledge the problem, but still avoid doing the deeper inner work required to heal. Because facing vulnerability feels like losing control, and that is their deepest fear. For an avoidant to truly change, they must learn that closeness does not equal danger. They need to rewire their beliefs about intimacy, trust, and emotional dependence. And that takes time, effort, and often uncomfortable self-confrontation. It is not a quick transformation, and it is not something you can guide them through on your own. You cannot heal someone who is not actively trying to heal themselves. And staying in the hope that they will eventually change can slowly drain your emotional energy. The truth is, potential is not the same as reality, and many people fall in love with who someone could be. But a healthy relationship is built on who someone consistently shows up as, not who they promise to become. So instead of asking if an avoidant can change, a better question is, are they doing the work right now? Are they taking responsibility for their behavior, or are they still blaming circumstances and other people? Are they communicating openly, or are they still shutting down when things get uncomfortable? Because real change is visible, it is consistent, and it does not leave you guessing where you stand. And if you are constantly feeling anxious, confused, or emotionally neglected, that is your answer. Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is that love alone is not enough to create change in someone. And choosing yourself does not mean giving up on them. It means refusing to abandon your own needs. Because the right relationship will not require you to shrink yourself just to keep someone from leaving.